Don't look in here!
It's
Private. Today I'm going to be making Parmesan and Rosemary shortbread biscuits. Shortbread biscuits are traditionally Scottish and they're not usually savoury, so this might seem like a bit of an unusual combination, but trust me, they are really, really delicious. So the first thing I'm going to do is, with 2 sprigs of rosemary from the garden, is separate the leaves and roughly chop them. Okay, so I'm just going to set that aside for the moment, and then we're going to mix the dough. So shortbreads are not that different from short crust pastries in the sense that they contain no egg. So it's basically just butter and flour, which makes the dough a little bit difficult to handle, but it's fine because it's supposed to be crumbly. So you just have to learn to deal with that. I'm gonna start with 225 grams of salted butter and a 1/4 cup of icing sugar. Now I'm going to use a hand mixer to cream the butter and the sugar together, and this always becomes a mess because it's powdered sugar. It just goes flying all around and my whole kitchen turns into a sugary mess. So know that that's going to happen before you start, so maybe don't do this in your party frock, but prepare yourself for being sugared. So when your butter and sugar have been sort of creamed together and your kitchen looks like an absolute war zone, it's time to add in flour. So I've got 2 cups of all-purpose flour here that I'm going to add in kind of in batches. When that's all blended together, I'm going to add in a 1/4 cup of grated Parmesan, and I'm going to add in all the rosemary, and I'm going to kind of just work at that with my hands, and then we're going to let that rest. So now there are essentially 2 things you could do. I have struggled many times with trying to roll out this dough and then trying to shape biscuits out of that, and it's just always awful and a nightmare. So what I do now is I take this and I kind of turn it into like a sausage shape, and then I let it rest in the fridge, and then I can just take a knife and cut little biscuits instead of having to roll this out and then take a cookie cutter, and more effort than it needs to be, honestly. This is all about quick and easy. And that is going to sit in the fridge for at least an hour to allow the gluten to relax, and then it's going to harden so that we can easily work with it. So it's been about an hour and I've taken the sausage out of the fridge, and as you can see, it's completely hardened. So that's perfect. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to cut little biscuit shapes, just like that. And they shouldn't be too thick, sort of like that. This is such a satisfying thing. It's like, you know those videos of people with slime and they cut things with the shapes in the slime? It's kind of like that. These biscuits will spread a little bit, so try not to put them too close together. These little end bits are always a bit weird, so I kind of just squash them. But I don't want to waste them. Okay, the shortbreads are going into a 200-degree oven for about 10 to 15 minutes. Shortbreads only need like that little time because they're very, very pale, so they don't need to go all brown and crispy. Hi, baby Ollie. Hi, baby Ollie. So cute, the baby Ollie. So cute. So the biscuits are done. They're still soft in the middle. Shortbread biscuits should never come out of the oven completely hard because that means they're overdone. So they're still soft, but a little bit brown on the edges. So that's exactly what I want. And I'm going to transfer them to a cooling rack. We're now going to let these biscuits sit until they're completely cooled down. At that point, they will have hardened and then they're ready to eat. Okay, the biscuits have cooled down, so I'm going to now arrange them on a cute little plate. Okay, let's try one of these shortbreads. Oh, like this texture on the inside, you can see it's really flaky and crumbly. The texture is just perfect. It's so buttery and crumbly. It's like a perfect shortbread. The Parmesan and the rosemary goes so well, and it's really not like weird as you'd think. It's really, really delicious and just somewhere in between like sweet and savory. And so indulgent. It's, I could eat these all day. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, and I will see you next week Sunday.